So for the SMEs that we serve in terms of, say, all kind of manufacturing setups, or for that matter infrastructure services, what we find are essentially three kind of issues. One is the financial access itself. So when I say financial access, what it means is that SMEs can definitely get loan to actually start up their business, but in terms of running their business, ongoing raw material requirement, etc., that's very underpenetrated. So only 25% of the requirement of what they really need is met by banks, and that's completely underserved, and hence they have to look for alternate sources like the dealers, distributors, or informal channels, which are somewhere around 2% per month. So financial access is one key issue. Second is, what we found is, even in the terms of reliability of raw materials, and that's why we combine the two services together on our platform, right? Reliability of raw materials, if you're a corporate, mid-corporate, it's easier for you to say, okay, I need the material at this time and in time, in full. But for an SME, the prices are not the best, the delivery timelines is not the best. So when we talk about industries as auto, or for that matter capital goods, they would have huge requirements of steel or polymer, and those materials, raw materials, never reach them on time. So that's the second issue that we actually observed on the SME side. So underserved on financial side, completely neglected when in terms of delivery and service to them. And third is, they don't really have access to the market in terms of, if they want to grow their business, how do they actually get access to new business is also the third issue, I would say, that we have found in the kind of SMEs we serve. So we are a lending plus first platform. So what we believe is that we will serve an SME not just for his lending need, but go much beyond. So we would provide them the unsecured limit to actually use it in their operational needs, that for that matter use it in raw material procurement, but at the same time we'll also provide them raw materials on the platform, and going forward we'll keep adding services like marketing, etc. So when SME thinks about OfBusiness, they'll think that all their needs can be met by OfBusiness, and OfBusiness is a lender definitely, but they will give me much more beyond the lending, and I'll get added to that network, which will provide me a lot of other benefits. As a lender, I think the big thing that we see is that though you can get data on the SMEs regarding past financials, like in terms of the financial balance sheets or income statements, you can get their banking history, but getting much more information about the SME, which can help you predict what his future cash flows are going to be, is something that's not very easily available. So for example, an SME may be serving 3 or 4 anchors, and how well that SME is doing is completely dependent on how the anchor would be doing. So for us, it's important to actually collect that kind of information on the ground. That data does not exist. So hence we have to invest a lot of time in getting that kind of information for the SMEs. And second is, obviously, as I was referring to, many of our SMEs actually are located in far-flung industrial clusters, etc. So reaching out to them, finding a tech-led way in which we are doing acquisition is something that actually brings at least a lot of power on our platform. In terms of our expansion plans, right now we are like in 20 clusters or so. As per government classification of industrial clusters, because that's our target segments in SME, there are around 550 industrial clusters. You would have reference to that in a lot of Make in India databases as well. So going forward, we would like to increase a lot in this coverage. We would be targeting to build $1 billion book in the next 3 to 5 years. And as we do that, things we expand is not just on geographical, but introducing new products itself. But our core focus will still remain that whatever lending we do, it should be tied up with the real need, which is raw material procurement. And that end use guarantee is something which we'll always keep as a theme as we go forward as well. I think Indian startup ecosystem is bringing a lot of innovation. The incumbents are now thinking about, because I can speak about the financial services space, banks, NBFCs are now thinking about what new they can do, how they can partner with startups to actually build a much more defensible position. So I think startups have brought in a lot of innovation in the industry, just a different way of thinking about it.